Topic of today is meditation is the highest form of yoga. So what is yoga? Patanjali has been one of the foremost that we know who has documented the sutras, the yoga sutras, the knowledge, the ultimate knowledge of who we are and what conclusions he has reached. And it is possible that he summarized, and he might have had people before him that knew the knowledge, but he documented it in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. And he, according to him, the first verse is, it's not the first, the second I think, is Yogas Chit Vritti Nirodha. And I'm not the best in pronunciation of Sanskrit, Dr. Sani can do that better. Yoga is restraining of the activities of the mind. So if you want to realize that power that created us, if you want to experience that, you have to control the mind, or the vrittis, which are basically thoughts, energies in our mind. We have a mind, right? So we have body, we have mind, and we have this Atman, or soul, or spirit, which is the part of the mind. So the spirit is there in all of us, but how do we realize it? The spirit, the soul, the power that created the entire universe also created us. So we have that small ansh, or the part of it. But how do we realize that? And according to him, we can realize it by controlling the thoughts, calming the mind. We can realize it. Simple, right? But very difficult to do. That's according to him the yoga is. Yoga is the union. In literal terms, it means uniting the part with the whole. So we are the part, and the divine is the whole. And actually, there's another verse that suggests that being part of the whole, we are already whole. But we don't know that. We don't know that. It's not realized knowledge. So, and according to, in the Bhagavad Gita also, we have some explanations of the yoga. Evenness of mind, says Lord Krishna. Also, skillfulness in action. So these are definitions we find in our scriptures. So he came up with, well, it's difficult to achieve just to say, okay, I'm going to prevent the vrittis in my mind and I'm going to get to realize myself and God. So he said, okay, I'll give you some 8 steps to do that. Because it's going to be a journey. And he came up with this 8 sutras. First one is the Yama. Now, like anything you want to do, any project you take in your hand, the first thing we learn about the project, what are the do's and don'ts? What can you do and what you cannot do? Just like, as parents, many of us who are, our kids grow up and they start running around, and first thing we say, no, don't do that. Right? Remember saying no? In fact, there is a research done that a parent typically says 90% of the word is no. The rest is, okay, I love you, etc. So it's no, 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 don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Don't run, don't touch that, that's knife, that's fire, that's not safe, that's not good, etc., etc. So he's also started with Yama, which means don'ts. What you don't do. Then the Niyamas are the one which you do. The action that is good for you, positive. And then he talked about asanas. So let's go into each one of them. So it's asanas, which is physical, because first of all, it's very easy to ask someone to do something physically. Just sit here. It's easier to ask them, think about something else, right? Physical actions are easier to do. So asanas, then pranayama, realizing the energy in us, the pranic energy, which gives us life form. And then he talks about pratyahara, which means withdrawal of the sensory currents, and I'll go into details. and then Dharna, which is concentration, and then Dhyana, which is what we call, usually Dhyana is we call meditation, when you say sitting on the Dhyana, which means you're putting your attention. But Dhyana is everywhere. When we do anything, we do it with our attention, right? Our attention is always there with us. Even when we're sleeping, our attention is in the dreams. So attention cannot be turned off. It's always there. Question is, where do you put it? So how many people here never meditated? Can you raise your hand?
Never, sorry, say that again?
Never meditated. 1, 2.
We tried.
You tried. So there is not a single human being who has not meditated in this world. And I'm making that claim because you just meditate on different things. You meditate on your studies, you meditate on TV, you meditate on cooking, eating, meditate. Your attention is somewhere, what you like or love. Is there anything in this world that you like or love? You love tremendously? You put your attention and you love to stay there. That's what is meditation. Except now, in the process of yoga, we have to put our attention on something else. Not TV, not this, not that, not that. Nothing of this world, but somewhere higher, more towards the creative power, towards the God power. So that's what Dhyana is. Dhyana is attention. In Samadhi, when I grew up, I was attracted to anybody who was sitting in meditation. Like, wow, that's awesome. What are they doing? What are they experiencing? Why are they enjoying it so much? What could be that? That they're not eating, they're not talking to someone, they're just closing their eyes and looks like they're gone somewhere. And not just for a few minutes, few hours. In fact, some could meditate for days. They would not come back until they enjoy it. So there must be something. I mean, is there anything that we could do for days without break? Probably sleep. I'm the closest. Ask a teenager, love to sleep 24 hours a day, right? But that's the closest. But that's also doing nothing. It's still tossing, turning, and maybe dreaming. But the point is there's something must be there must be something very, very sweet, enjoyable when you meditate. So the samadhi is the state where you are one with you are the highest state of being. And what I have learned, and I'm always going to be looking at Dr. Stanek here, please feel free to correct me if I say anything, is there are two types of samadhis. One is in Dhyana samadhis where you're experiencing the oneness of God and you're enjoying that state as meditator. But the experts really don't just enjoy that. They are, even when they're awake and doing their work, they are in what they call Sahaj Samadhi, which means even though they are doing their day-to-day activities, they're actually in the state of harmony with God. They don't see anything different from worshiping God or being connected to God or connected to the creative power, even while they're talking, walking, doing their work and day-to-day activities, meeting people, doing selfless service, seva and everything. Does that make sense? That's a samadhi state. Alright. So what is Yama? So let's go step by step, and then I have a few slides that will give the theory that is already in the books. So the Yama is the don'ts, right? So non-violence is the first one. If you want to realize your creator, first thing you need to learn is not to hurt anyone. So when you cause hurt, it creates some separation. It's like, okay, I'm separate from you, and I need to hurt you. Right? It's a separation. And we are trying to be one, so that hinsa creates separation. The more violence creates more separation. And our rishis and munis and the saints and mystics have always said, start with ahimsa, don't hurt anyone. Let's first not hurt anyone. Or at least don't hurt anyone intentionally. And on a practical sense, you can never be 100% sure that you'll never hurt anyone. Even if you feel that you'll never hurt anyone. Likelihood that you would have hurt someone unintentionally. So So at least we pray that intentionally I don't want to hurt anyone. And I pray that I unintentionally also do not hurt anyone. Right? So that's ahimsa. So there should be a intention of not hurting anyone. Second is satya. Satya is truth. Now, many people feel that truth is like saying as you know it. But truth is more than that. That is, yes, of course, if you are late in the office, which what typically happens to many of us, and we quickly say, yeah, there was traffic. We wouldn't say that we started 15 minutes late, right? We don't say to the boss, I started 15 minutes late, so that's why I'm late. No, there was bad traffic. And it could be true at some times, I'm not saying it's always, but most of the time, you just come up with something. So that is of course, satya vachan, it's like saying the truth. But satya means more than that. It also means true living. It also means, what is the truth of our life? To pursue the knowledge of self. To pursue this knowledge. We are born, there's a reason why we are born. Not to just born as a person, then grow up, and educate, earn money, get married, have children, grow your children, make more money, be a millionaire, be famous, be successful in the worldly sense, marry your children, have grandkids, celebrate their birthdays, etc. And then one day we can old and pass away. Is that what the purpose is?
No.
Well, that's what we do, most of us. It was seem like. What?
That's a very depressing view of looking at things.
It's depressing because that is what we are living with. It doesn't seem depressing because when you are as a parent, you say, oh, my goal is to get my children to grow. And that's a very, by the way, it doesn't feel depressing because it is divine. It's like, okay, what else am I supposed to do? This is my kids. God gave me kids. I'm supposed to grow. Let them, educate them, make them good human beings, right?
What's the difference between animals and human beings?
Exactly. So that's a need that we do fulfill because logically that seems right. And there's nothing wrong with that itself. But if you feel that is all there is, that's something wrong. If you feel that is all there is. And if you look at your life and what are the things you pursue it, how do you know that? Just look at your day, typical day. How much time you spend? You need to sleep, absolutely important. I'm a body, I need to rest. If I don't sleep 8 hours or 6 hours, whatever, it could be for different people, I sleep 5 hours. That if I don't sleep, then I'll have a bad day. So sleep is must. I need to take shower. I don't want other people to complain. I don't know if it's necessary for me to take shower, but whatever reason. Then you do all the things, and you look at 24 hours are gone by the time you realize, what have you done more than what I just said? Right? So those one of us who see the life, wow, there's something wrong in just living this pattern of life. Everybody's doing exactly that. Now, of course, you may be doing differently. Somebody could be a software engineer, somebody could be a businessman, somebody could be a doctor. But eventually, you're kind of doing a job and making money. So those of us who say there's something wrong, there's to be more than that, are the ones who are here in the temple today. So congratulations, you've already done that step. You wanted to explore something more. It's more than the life. Come on, what's yoga? Let's find out. So those are the ones who search, and those who search sincerely are the ones who get the answers. Right? So then you realize, oh, well, I see, there's a purpose to it. And then you also get the confirmation through the scriptures and the knowledgeable people, and then you say, okay, now it makes sense. Not only just my feeling that there has to be some purpose, but the scriptures say it has to come from within you. Okay, so satya, living, true living, is why we are here. Asteya is lack of greed. So in the physical material world, we need things to live, and there is a need and there is wants. I want things. And usually for a person who's living a true life, there's not much difference. Or for most of us, I need a 5-bedroom house because my friend bought a 4-bedroom house, so how can I be less than him? just bought a Porsche, so I have to buy a Tesla to show him that I'm also something. So now you get into the wants, right? And what all we need, if you think that I need a car that goes from point A to point B without proper, less maintenance so I can spend more time driving rather than in the shop. That's a need, yeah, it makes sense, right? In this Minnesota, you can't walk around places. In India, you could. When the communities were smaller, the workplace was not more than a few miles, although some people have walked along. So anyway, point is, understand the difference between wants, and the greed is anything that you don't need, but you still want. Make sense? That's a simple definition of greed I have. You could be called greedy to someone else, could be relatively more greedy. Like somebody has, I was talking to my wife about the sandals, and that was a bad conversation to start. How many sandals you need? Don't get into that business. That's not your... Okay, sorry.
Make sure she's not listening.
Yeah, she's not listening, so I can say that.
Don't hear here.
But then, she gets into my other stuff, which is how many computers I need. So it's a balanced way, by the way, right? Amount of time I spend in Home Depot or Best Buy, she gets amazed by that, but then at the same time she will spend that time in Kohl's. So anyway, life is a balance. But anything, you get the idea, right? Non-greedy. Don't be greedy, that's all he's saying, if you want to remember it. Brahmacharya, purity of thoughts and desires. Yeah, that's, as human being, everything has a purpose. We have attraction to opposite gender, and it could be more than that. It could be any impure thoughts. There has to be some discipline as we grow as human beings, right? So that discipline is what he is talking about. Aparigraha, non-possessiveness or detachment. Don't get attached to anything. If you have something, it's there for a reason. When its purpose is done, it'll go away. Anything do you remember you possess forever? If you did, you would not be able to walk around. I mean, you have so much, your house would be full of garbage and stuff, right? You know that things you don't need, and you have detachment to something that, oh yeah, it's done, it's old, it's done its purpose, let's throw it, let's get detached, or give it to someone else who may need it. So detachment is necessary in order to so you get the idea. This is kind of the simple, very simple that all human beings can understand, don'ts. Now there are other don'ts which are kind of connected to this, okay? So for example, don't be jealous of others, right? Again, that could be coming from the truth, or non-violence. So what is the niyamas? What are the do's? 5 things you should do to make spiritual progress. Saucha, cleanliness of body, mind and heart. Everybody understand body. Probably most people understand mind. But many of us are not so careful about heart. And what I mean by that is, when we criticize someone, we think we know better than them. We think we are better than them because they don't understand what being right is. And sometimes we spend a lot of time criticizing. And it could malign our heart. And that's, why is it so bad? Because it works against our spiritual goal. Spirituality is about realizing oneness with the Creator, and the Creator created everyone equally, right? So in order to get back to the Creator, we have to remove all the impurities in our heart so that the Creator can accept us. So that is why cleanliness of not just body and mind, but heart and soul is necessary. Santosha is contentment. Now this is the opposite of greed, right? So don't be greedy, but also be content in what you have. Because whatever we have, why do we at all feel non-content? Can we never tell? If ever the thought comes, not content, why does that come?
Outside influences.
Comparison, yes, we compare someone else. Someone else has more, so why don't I have more? Someone has a better car, why don't I have a better car? Someone has a better job, why can't I have a better job? So somebody is very respected and honored, why do I not get that kind of respect? Whatever it could be, not content. Feeling that something is lacking in our life right now, right here. Feeling that I have not enough. And what Patanjali and the saints and mystics are saying, feel content because what you have is already the best you have, the best you could have ever had. Yeah, mind doesn't agree with that, by the way. So this is kind of just a reference to keep in mind. As you grow spiritually, you realize that is the truth. That what I have right now is what I need right now. Who's the giver? The divine. Has given us exactly what we need. If you can realize just one thing out of this conversation from the saints, it'll transform your life. Just one thing. Just pick anything. It could be non-violence. It could be content. Just hold on one thread, and that's good enough to take you back. So it's so powerful. Well, let's keep going. Tapasya is practicing austerity, simplicity, patience, and self-restraint. Disciplining ourselves and putting effort. Now, many of us who have studied universities, colleges, you put a lot of hard work to get that degree. You could not have gotten that. So you know what hard work feels. If you had flunked your classes, not paid attention, you would have spent time in watching movies more than the college studies and school studies, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be what you are. True? Right? So you understand, and as parents, you want your kids to do the same. You don't want them to miss out on opportunity, right? So achieving any success requires a disciplined effort. Consistent, disciplined effort. But later on we'll learn even the effort has to be done with no expectation. So that's very hard. Many people work hard, but then they develop expectation, which actually works against us. It's not that, oh, don't worry, you keep working hard, if you are lucky you'll get it. No, we're not talking about that. Actually, expectation slows us down. Because without expectation, we could be going with God's speed. With expectation, we kind of put brakes. So doing without expectation is godly. It's going to result in the best result. Not because you're not supposed to know it. That's what I think.
I think I would say it a little bit differently. Nobody can really do any activity without a specific desire to achieve something.
Yes.
I think that's exactly what has been taught by us, by scholars in the past. But what you're referring to is you will get a definite specific result. That expectation is wrong.
Yes.
But you have to have a set goal. You have to have a plan. You have to have a mission. You have to have a desire to start your work. So that's absolutely
I totally agree.
But
I don't mean
you can't expect specific result. So that's exactly 247 says, Karma Niyama.
Thanks for clarifying that. So, yes, when you do effort and absolutely, the state of, oh, I don't care whatever happens, well, that means that you're not putting the right effort. So putting right effort is necessary. Plan, do your planning best, but the plan could change also. Even the software engineers here would agree with it, right? Planning is necessary, but plan could change. You accept the change of plan. So yes, I totally thank you for clarifying that question. Next is Swadhyaya, self-study or introspection. So as part of the learning of self, it is important to reflect on our own progress. There is no, in the schools you have grade systems and you have marks and you get, other people evaluate you and you know where you are, right? You know, are you A plus or you B plus or whatever, and then where do you need to work hard so that you can be successful. In the spiritual path, in the learning, there is nobody that can tell you where you are in your journey other than some spiritually enlightened souls, like masters can tell you. But more, even they will say, first introspect yourself. It is very important to see where we are in our journey. There is no one else can tell us that, not even our parents. They can encourage us to do introspection and do the practice, but we only can introspect. Introspection is about self, about being in that state of evaluation of self. Where am I in this process of knowing the truth and knowledge from the yoga? Without introspection, you would not be able to, in order to get anything, you have to measure, right? So it's a very important step. In fact, there can be a whole script talk about just introspection process. And then surrender to the Supreme. So end of we talked about the detaching the result. In fact, the surrender is the highest form of it, is to say, I accept everything that comes to me. I accept, not only accept. So, okay, I'll tell you a small story of a saint and a saint and another saint. So one is a spiritual saint, and usually we have the assembly and everybody is having conversation. So one said we should accept everything as God's will, if it is good or bad, no matter what. So the other saint, who was a enlightened soul, he said, no, that's not enough. So the second saint said, oh, we should not only accept, but we should accept it happily. That we should not say this is good or bad, everything is good. So she says, no, even that is not enough. So then the two asked, tell us what is the right thing to accept things, surrender, what's the right way to surrender? He said, you should be grateful for everything that happens. Gratitude. Not only, so we just had a Thanksgiving, so I'm sure you reflected on with your friends or your family, what are you grateful for? And you may be grateful for your education, your parents, and there are a few things you're grateful for. But I'm sure there are millions of things you're not grateful for. I'm not, right? You agree? There are so many things we're not grateful for. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? It could be better, right? So that means we don't accept everything. Well, so the states of surrender is telling us not only accept everything and not complain, not only be happy about it, but be grateful for it. So if you fall sick tomorrow, say, oh my God, this virus sucks. And I wish I would not sick today. I wish I could do so many good things. No, be grateful, because it's happening for your highest good. That's the state that he is talking. Thank you. So we'll continue the conversation about, I'll try to be faster this time. The reason I was trying to bring this posture is asana does not mean that. It's usually asana to be done. Now that's the next step, right? The first is Yama, Niyama, and then the asana. The asana actually means to be seated in a firm and pleasant and relaxed position. Now, that's not easy, by the way. It's not easy to sit in a pleasant, relaxed position for an extended period of time. You can sit there for a few seconds, and all of a sudden, next few minutes later, you say, now I have to change my position. I have to stretch my leg, I have to be on the sofa, I'm going to move on the chair, or chair to sofa, or slowly bed, and maybe lay down. Right? That's how nature works. So that is why we do the exercise, so that we have the strength in our body to be able to sit comfortably in a pleasant posture for extended period of time. And what we, unfortunately, most people see yoga as exercise as the only part of yoga. I mean, if you ask in the United States of America how many people do yoga, there are millions of people say, I do yoga. What do you do yoga? You go and do exercise. But not many people translate that to meditation, or even sitting and doing the effort of meditation. So the purpose of these exercises is to remove the limitations from the body, and Dr. Sai said, we want no limitations. So this limitation that our body brings because of the physical nature, it just demands attention. So we want to be strong enough that it doesn't need attention, as long as we can build. Now, you can't jump from a few minutes to a few hours, and you need to practice it over a period of time. So all of the exercises are meant for that.
Before you go further,
Yeah.
I think it's important to remember that I learned from my guru is this is possible at a much later age, provided you have started as a young person.
Yeah, you can.
So if you are not started as a very young person, what our teachers have taught us is that whatever position you feel comfortable with,
Exactly.
it's okay. So it's perfectly okay if you feel uncomfortable, your knees are hurting, your hip is hurting, or you're uncomfortable otherwise for whatever reason, you can sit comfortably in a chair.
Yeah.
Make yourself comfortable. Idea behind is that your body should feel comfortable
Exactly.
to proceed further.
And
If you are able to not sit this way,
no, I'm not suggesting this is the way of sitting. I'm not suggesting that. But you're right. And it's exactly what we also say. Sitting in a comfortable position where you can sit for the time for which you have a target of meditating. If you want to meditate 15 minutes, you should be able to sit 15 minutes. So we sit here on the chair with our legs down. That's perfectly fine. But if somebody says, no, I have to sit in the Padmasana, which is, you're welcome to sit if you can. It's not a no-no, it's yes. It's yes, yes. Everything is yes. Sitting on a sofa, chair, whatever makes you comfortable. I think that's the point is foreign, pleasant, relaxed position. Comfortable, we call it. Sitting in a sofa, chair is perfect. So pranayama, and pranayama is a great exercise. Again, to me and our understanding and our path, pranayama is a great way to calm, to realize the motor currents in our body. Because remember, there is divine given us life force. The life force is in two forms. One is the prana, which is in the yogic system we call the Ida and the Pingala, the system that works autonomously. You breathe, your blood circulates, your heart beats. There is a system that works even when you're not thinking about it, you're not worrying about it. Nobody say, oh, I forgot to beat my heart. Well, it beats automatically. Thank God that's how the system works. Otherwise you may forget about it. So the prana system works autonomously. So like the breathing works autonomously. By paying attention to breathing, by realizing, you realize that there is force. And thankfully when you're realizing it, when you're balanced, you don't do anything that disturbs that balance. Like our digestive system, blood circulation system. So you realize that and you let it go, you let it run. You just don't want to be in the middle. Okay? So, but realizing that there is motor currents, and then there's other, which is the attention, the dhyana. That's what we will be focusing on. At least that's what we do in our meditation. I know some people just say breathe in and out, that's meditation. But essentially what you're doing is you're putting your attention on something in a longer period of time, which is also kind of a meditation. Yeah, there are benefits of pranayama exercises on our physical body and how our body works and how the organ works, and each one of those richa, kumbha, anuloma.
The reason I'm adding to that because I occasionally get asthma, bronchial spasm.
Yes.
So I use different medications for that. So I have a little small oximeter at home.
Mm-hmm.
So you see a simple finger that we do at the hospital and whatnot. It's interesting that when you do pranayama with that attached, it's amazing how the oxygen percentage goes up.
Exactly.
What I'm trying to say is that just hearing this, seeing this is effective.
Yep.
But when you see being scientifically minded, you see the numbers really change.
Absolutely.
That makes a tremendous impact.
So this is very well established that pranayama helps our well-being.
When you do this, also, one of the main things, we don't breathe in deep, right? We have very
Yes,
shallow
we breathe very shallow.
Exactly.
And besides that, one of the very big part of this is you are exhaling a lot. Okay? You are breathing out a lot, which is very, very important. We don't exhale, so we are getting, and then there is more space inside for oxygen, for pure energy to come in.
Detox also. I mean, there's a lot of things collected here. When you just breathe out, you throw out those things that get stuck.
And this is the only exercise really, when you do pranayama, that's the only time you really consciously breathe out.
Yes.
Which
That's
is
the most
very,
important.
very important.
Absolutely. Being conscious of breathing. Sometimes we don't realize we breathe and how our breath is. If we become aware of the breath, you can notice that you become slightly angry, your breath goes up, goes faster. You realize, oh my God, I'm breathing. I'm anxious. So awareness.
Take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath. We ask people to relax and get out of the jinx. Yes, you have a question.
I just want to know, from the counting, is there some say like 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 4, or 6, 6, 6. What do you do?
So I would let that Arun answer that question, because I practice it, but for me it's equal.
You don't hold it?
I don't hold it. I just do the breathing, relax, and I do Kapalabhati. And what I have heard is that you should not, some of those practices you need a guru of that discipline. So I don't, since I'm not a master of that area, so I don't do it on my own. for my own, you can do an Alom, you can do Kapalbharati, you can just remember to breathe. That Dr. Sana said, when you are in tension, pressure, feeling stress, just remember to breathe. And those things are very helpful. And before meditation, pranayama is a good preparation. So if you, let's say you meditate in the morning and evening. In the morning you may be relaxed, so you may not feel that much need, but in the evening when you come from office or you have a big stressful day, you cannot just transition to meditation right away. You know, you have to kind of calm down, relax, have some water, do some deep breathing. So now you're preparing your body and mind to meditate. So the specifics I would suggest Dr. Arun or you know, the other teachers who are here. But for me, it's just important that you remember to breathe, notice the breath as calm as possible, and doing those exercises are start calming your body and mind. And now you're ready to the next steps, which is what we focus on. The next step, according to Patanjali, is Pratyahara, which is withdrawal of the senses. Now, we need senses to survive in this world. But we can be at a safe place, and at times we want to practice withdrawing it, so we can be aware of the regions beyond the physical region. Now, there has been tremendous study, even scientifically, on the near-death experience. People who are in an operating theater, none of their senses can be on, they are completely sleeping and in fact dead. There are people who have been operated in a way where they thought they're dead, but they were still trying to devise, so they had no sense. They had an experience of the higher regions. They had an experience of the inner regions. So in meditation, we don't have to go through trauma. In meditation, we're doing it on our own, voluntarily. So when you're able to withdraw from five senses, but that's like a first step. That's not enough to do, of course. That's then the calming of the mind, which is the ultimate obstacle in meditation. But sensory withdrawal is necessary, especially in the stages until you become really master. The masters are able to meditate even with the eyes open. So if we're not there yet, let's close our eyes, close our ears. Well, we can't close our ears. We can if we put the lay still, the sound come. What we eventually learn is to tune out of the senses. You know, when you say withdrawal of the senses, means tuning out of it, which means you kind of ignore it. Like you're sitting here meditating, there must be some noise, kids are running around, they're saying something, some noise is coming, the AC is humming. You cannot 100% have quiet. Although some people try it. I mean, I know in West, I see weird things, like there are tanks, they make it, and they just completely have silence. Well, I don't think you need any of that. You should be natural. In natural way, just learn to tune out. And, you know, ask husbands,
Yes.
or ask wives, that don't their husband tune out when they're watching. Like I watch cricket match and Shwini comes home like, Arvind, I've been calling your name for the last 2 minutes. Why did you listen? I said, and honestly, never heard you. So I was in the cricket. And then I remember you, I just don't remember hearing your words. So you can tune out, okay? You know how to tune out. When you love something, you tune out. So this meditation is to tune out of the senses. Okay?
I also think, since you are really interested in that subject, the correct pronunciation is not Pratyahara. Pratyahara.
Pratyahara.
Pratyahara. Because the next major ingestion, ahara, the real meat or dhyana is going to come later.
Correct.
That's a main meal, meal serving. So going towards that ahara, pratyahara, pratyahara.
Pratyahara.
And as a matter of fact, the last lecture for this year I'm going to speak on is going to help you pratyahara.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about japa.
Actually, that's...
The reason for that, because when...
Yes.
I don't want to tell what I'm going to talk about.
Yes. I want to come. I definitely want to come. So Pratyahara, and right pronunciations are not perfect. But the point is to be able to withdraw from attention, from the five senses. And that is the attention that goes out in the five senses is what we are interested in putting in the inverting, what we call the process of inversion. Meditation is a process of inversion, and silent inversion. So we want to, and that's one of the analogies that is used by, many scriptures, is an analogy of our body being a chariot with five horses driving it. And those are our senses that run our body and our system. And our mind is the chariot who is driving us. And the soul or the Atman is the passenger, the real passenger. It's like you take an Uber, right? And you say you want to be dropped. Everything, other system is just to get you from point A to point B comfortably. And so the mind is there as a tool, we're not the mind. Many times we assume that we are the car, we are the body, and that's, the Pratyahara allows us to realize that we're not the body. So everybody knows this.
So you're describing the Rati Rupena and the Nirupanam? Is that described?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact words. You know this.
Now I'm basically talking about what different parts of the body are depicted in these images. Basically, horses are your senses, sense organs.
Yes.
Going on the sense subjects or objects are the roads that you're traveling. Mind is your reins you're holding on.
Intellect, yes.
Intellect is the one who's sitting there and controlling in those reins. And the one who is the Atma is completely untouched, is watching without any
observing it.
So that's how exactly the description of
Exactly.
And the body is your the chariot.
The chariot, yes. So for our interest is the soul, the Atman. The Atman who is getting dragged by this chariot.
Neither the karta nor the bhukta.
Right, it's just getting dragged. It's observing everything, it's watching everything, and the intellect is making decisions for it. And your karmic action is getting you the experience in the physical world, the good and the bad. If you go this way, you have this kind of experience, you do this choice. And there's a Vivek Buddhi to make those decisions. That Vivek Buddhi we use to discriminate what is right, what's wrong, what's real, what's unreal. And that's when that comes from Atman. And it basically tells, you cannot be sitting in a taxi and the taxi drives you for a ride and you have no control over it. At some point you have to say, wait a minute, where are we going? I have to get here. Can you please start driving there? I know the driver will say, well, I needed a break, I needed to entertain, I need to meet my brother, I need to do this, I need to do this. The driver may have multiple needs. And you say, okay, I'm fine, those of which are needs, but don't get lost in those needs. Don't forget that I'm here, I need to get to point B. So that's our goal, that realization that as an Atman, this whole human birth is the only time and the only resource we have to realize that. So if we lost that, then we'll be sitting again into another forms where we won't have this intellect or the Vivek Buddhi developed. Okay, so focus. Then now once we withdraw from the senses, we need to focus on the inner planes, which is what we put in the third eye, which is the divine eye, because it doesn't see anything physically. Divine eye sees in the inner planes. And you notice that in many scriptures they talk about opening the third eye, or the guru opens the third eye, essentially the sixth chakra, and allows the soul to soar. There must be some kind of a closure there from nature to not let you just fly on yourself. So you need a help from an enlightened being that Dr. Sana was talking about, the enlightened being's help to open it and be able to soar. Somebody has to be at a higher consciousness to be able to open it. So that is the guru's role, but you have to be there. Our attention needs to be at the third eye so that we can experience anything. We're not even there, how can we experience? So I'm going to be keeping it short. Then we did meditation, we'll do it again. And just quickly, the mana, the mind, is the source of all what you call life experience. And the good and the bad. We have desires, the mind is playing as its own game in a way that it doesn't feel the need of knowing God. So it creates all kinds of thoughts and vrittis. And so we talked about in the beginning, right? This Patanjali is about stopping the vrittis. Where is these vrittis are coming from? So there is a conscious mind, which we are aware. So if I ask you how many thoughts you get in a day, how many thoughts do you get in a day? Any estimate?
Yeah, about 50 to 75,000.
That's your knowledge.
Right. I mean, that's
what do you know? How much you think you know? Like how much you think you get? You remember? 1,000? 500? 2,000? That's typically what people say. 1,000, 2,000. Because you don't remember all of the 50,000. There are subconscious thoughts too. So we only aware of some part of it we call conscious mind. So you can be thinking about, let's say you have to go back to home, like I have to take a Google map. That's the conscious thought. But when you start driving, all of a sudden you brake when there's a car in front without even thinking. You take a left turn, right turn, you exactly follow the direction. Sometimes you don't even turn on the GPS and you're at home. Well, how did you get there? There were so many thoughts along the way which you're consciously not aware. Right? So most of the thoughts are unconscious. And that's where we are depositing our desires, our wants, our intentions, and they keep popping up. So it's good to know that a mind is like an iceberg, and we only know the tip of it. And so we go to psychologists or people who are experts, they know that exactly what is going on. They can see the other part as well. So Sigmund Freud was one of those Western scientists who kind of talked about subconscious, but we already knew in our Eastern scriptures. So Deepak Chopra also mentioned this. He says meditation is a process of not necessarily controlling the thoughts as they are, but to find a center where there are no thoughts. So while it could be a journey to completely prevent the thoughts, that's going to happen probably who knows when. But can we try to get to the center where there are no thoughts? We all have a center. So that's what we're trying to do with meditation. We're trying to, okay, the thoughts are there, there's all kinds of subject going on with you. There's studies, there's work, there's family, there's everything. So we're just trying to withdraw it to the center. So like in IIT Hurricane, we have a center. And so 50,000 thoughts, we cannot just bring it down to zero. It's not going to happen. We'll probably go 50, 70 may come to 50. But then we can start managing what kind of thoughts we have. So what kind of actions we do. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to skip forward. This is how our mind is, multi-headed, always all kinds of impurities. We are trying to make it a child, a baby, a sweet puppy, a loving puppy. So just my own personal inspiration. But okay, have you seen this picture? When people talk about mindful or mindful. So, who's enjoying the park? The dog? Why? Because it's seeing the 4 trees and the sun, and the person walking is seeing everything but what it is the reality. That's what we're. And so these are all different names used by different saintly paths, but essentially they're trying to say the same thing. The emptying of mind. Okay, so how about we close with one more spiritual teacher's quote. Spirituality is an inner experience, it's an alphabet begins where all philosophies of yoga practice ends. What he means is that it's an experience. End of the day, you have to experience. Otherwise, it's just intellectual knowledge. And experience happens when you practice. You got to sit down and practice. There's no alternative. Yes, all the inspiration in the world exists so that you can do it. Scriptures exist so that you can sit. Talks and the knowledge so you can sit. But you have to sit and experience yourself firsthand. Even the guru at that point says, even I'm not there. You have to experience. I can give you the knowledge, but you have to sit. Okay? And this is what I was talking about, Dr. Sami. I think the role of a guru is described in Guru Gita. Aptly describes the guru is the dispeller of darkness. From gu, darkness, and ru means which dispels. A true God-illuminated guru is one who, in his attainment of self-mastery, has realized his identity with the omnipresent spirit and is uniquely qualified to lead the seeker into our inward journey. The spiritual master is a key role in the spiritual oneness, ultimately with God. But if you see, a spiritual master is not a different entity, it's actually part of God consciousness who is trying to help you come back to itself. It's just an extension of hand of God to say, I'm sending you my hand so I can call you back. The guru they don't have any other agenda They are just being the manifestation of that divine. And their role is only to pull us soul back to the oneness. That is all their purpose. If any other purpose they have, that's not divine. Just to extend that. But they don't extend until we are also able to open ourselves up. So our role is to open up, be open to that knowledge, we have to seek that knowledge. If we sit in our home and say, well, I'm having a good time, I'm enjoying my parties, the Guru is not going to bother you. But as soon as you say, no, I need to learn this, this is my inner desire to know the spiritual knowledge, then the Guru manifests in your life. And that's what you are referring to, the Guru comes. We don't have to, because we don't know what's the right thing for us, who is the right Guru, and there are millions of people who may mislead. So, but if you ask for right question, if you seek right thing, the right Guru will manifest in our life. If you ask for something different, like I want a Guru who teaches me spirituality, but also makes me a little bit very healthy person, well then you'll get that kind of a Guru. So, be careful what you ask for, because you are the driver. You are that divine energy that is asking for it. Okay, this is scientific study that wandering mind is unhappy mind. So our goal and the purpose is, even the science recognized today, is we need to stop our mind from wandering if you want to find true happiness. This is, I know the scriptures have been saying for thousands of years. Finally the science is coming to that conclusion. So there's a paper by Killingsworth, I'm sure Dr. Shannon you know about it. So it says, in conclusion, human mind is wandering mind, and wandering mind is an unhappy mind. So the reverse of that is true. A still mind is a happy mind. So it's very interesting that science is eventually catching up. They will never realize the inner journey, but they definitely can point to it. This is, one of the quotes that I like. When you realize there's nothing lacking in the whole world belongs to you. So the way to you accept the universe that there's nothing lacking. So wholeness, we have a beautiful verse called Purnamada. Okay, so any question? I think I'm done. But basically the simplicity summary is practice yoga is a practical way of achieving divine oneness. Start with ethical values, start with non-violence, regularly introspect your progress. Find a teacher. Again, find a teacher means practice yoga in a way that will find a teacher. And meditate regularly. So please sit comfortably. And the meditation is a process, we talked about attention, and we put at the source of our creative power that exists as the third eye. Now why is the third eye? The energy centers, there are 6 energy centers, and this, most of the centers below are meant to function the body, but the 6th center is the spiritual center. So we bring our attention at this level. It's not easy, but let's try it. First of all, we need to do is sit comfortably in a place where you can sit with the back straight and relax your limbs. Start with your feet. So relax your feet, relax your legs. Even for a few minutes, just try to follow the directions. Just relax your legs, relax your back, keep it straight. Put your arms in your laps. Thank you. That way, our attention slowly is becoming aware of the body and getting away from it essentially. So relax your arms, relax your shoulders. Sometimes they carry a lot of weight, a lot of pressure. So relax. Relax your neck. All of these are sources of energy, so we want our energy to flow freely. So we want to be relaxed and steady, not drooping or anything. Just keep it firm but relax at the same time. Relax your face. There should be no other expression other than just neutral happiness. So bring a smile. Even all the muscles of the face are relaxed. Now closing your eyes gently in a way that your eyeballs are straight. Just look at a distant point in front of you and then gently close your eyes. When you close your eyes and gaze in front, initially your attention may be on the physical eyelids and you may see some outer light. But slowly as you keep gazing, your attention lifts to this third eye level. We call Shiv Netra, single eye. And this is the 6th energy center which connects us to the inner divine regions. So when you put your attention there, you may experience initially some darkness. Just keep gazing in the middle. Now, ignore any other sensory inputs at this time, even if it's there. Just pay attention to this zone, gazing in the middle. As our mind calms down, we may start seeing some flashes of light, circles of light. So our role is to keep gazing there, and you can repeat a mantra or word, divine God's name, whatever your favorite, just repeat in your mind. That calms the mind down. And also put your attention on the divine. So keep gazing and keep repeating. The repetition has to be done slowly, gently, very lovingly. So that brings the calmness in us. And as our mind calms, we experience some light there. So continue to enjoy that light and continue repeating the word. If you find yourself wandering into thought, gently bring your attention back. We'll meditate for a few minutes and I'll get you out of that. Please gently open your eyes.